Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, we're going to learn some Python tips and tricks that are going to help you as you program in Python. So in the previous tutorials, we've learned a lot of concepts with regards to Python. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that are going to really help you as you program in Python. All right, so let's get started. Now, in previous tutorials, we've seen how we accept input from the user and then maybe perform something with the input that the user has given us. Okay, so for instance, we want the user to enter some numbers, right? So we use the input function, okay, and then we tell the user to enter a number. Okay, so normally this is what we do, and then we can print maybe the number out, right? Maybe we can print you entered and then the particular number that the user has entered. Okay, we can do that. So we can just do something like this. So let me even run this one for you to see. Okay, so for instance, if we enter any number here, so okay, now I see that it's giving us you entered whatever number that we entered. Now, what if we want to accept multiple inputs from the user? In this case, if you do it like this, you're only going to be able to accept one input from the user. Okay, so what if we want to accept multiple inputs from the user? Then in that case, what we can do is this. Let me bring it over here. Let me copy this code and then paste it over here. Okay, so what we can do is that whatever the user is going to enter, right, we can split it. We can use the split function over here to split it. So we can split it based on whatever that we want to split it with. Maybe split it based on comma. So we can tell the user enter a number separated with comma. Okay, separated with comma. All right, we can do something like this, and then we store this depending on the number that we want the users to enter. So maybe we want them to enter let me do it this way, enter maybe 5 or maybe enter 3 numbers. Okay, let's do it like that way. Maybe enter 3 numbers over here separated with comma. Okay, then we can store those 3 numbers. So maybe number 1, number 2, right? So I'm just going to name it like that. And then lastly, we can also accept the number 3. Then we can print all these ones out. Okay, we can print all these numbers out over here. We can bring them over here. So let's run this one and see what happens over here. Now see that it's prompting us to enter 3 numbers separated with comma. So maybe I enter let's say I enter 45, 56, 7, right? Then press enter. Oh, I missed T over here. Let me go back and put it there. T. All right, let me run it again. Okay, so now it's giving us, so let's say 32, 34, 8, yeah, so 3 numbers, that's fine. Let's press enter here. Now see that it's there. You entered 32, 34, and then 8. Okay, so if you want to accept multiple inputs from the user, that's what you do. Okay, that's what you do. So in this case, we split it based on comma. We can even split it based on maybe space. Okay, we can even split it based on say space. All right, so in this case, we can tell them enter 3 numbers separated with space. Okay, and this one should also work fine. So I can do 2 space 6 space say 8 space say 10. Okay, I mean 3 numbers rather. So this one should work. Now see that we have 2, 6, and then 8 over there. Okay, so that's how you accept multiple inputs from the user. Okay, now let's do this conditional statements over here, right? So in the previous video we saw the if else, and then the elif statement. Okay, so let's say we have some numbers over here, right? Let's just do a simple demonstration of it. Let's say a equals 1000, and then we have say b equals let me give you say 2000. Then we have c equals something like 500. Okay, let's say we have something like this, and then we're going to use the if statement to perform some condition here. So if let's say if a is greater than say b, right, and b is also greater than c, right, and c is also greater than say 100. Okay, let's do something like this. Then what I want to do is that I want to print something. Okay, so I can print we are good to go. Right, so maybe I can print something like this. All right, then let's see what else would I do. Otherwise, if this condition does not satisfy, then I can maybe do some else statement here and then print something else. Right, so maybe I can do something, right, something went wrong, the condition again. Okay, so we can do something like that. So let's run this one here and see. Okay, so now the condition is not satisfied. If you see if A is greater than B, is A greater than B? No, A is not greater than B, because A is 1000, B is 2000. So the first condition does not satisfy, so it's going to, it doesn't matter even if the rest of the conditions satisfy. Okay, we're going to get the else statement. Now let's say if the A is, say, 3000. Right, let's run it again. Now see that we are good to go. All right, so this one works fine. This one is good to go. This is what we know. This is what we've learned so far. What if we can do it in a more efficient way, right? What if we can do it in a more efficient way? So let me show you how we can actually do it instead of this. So what I can do is that I can pack all these ones, right? So maybe I can do it like this. I can pack all this one in the form of a list. Okay, so I put my condition here. Let me do it this way. Put the first condition over there, then I bring, let me even cut it, right? So then I bring this second condition, right? I bring the second condition over here, and then the third condition that I want to check, I bring it over here. Okay, then I get rid of these things. I get rid of these things. So this is what I have now, right? I've put them in the form of a list. Then I can probably save it in a variable. Right, I can save it in a variable, maybe conditions. Okay, then what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to do if or, right? If or, that is if all the conditions that I've given over here is true, right? That is if all conditions, right? I can pass in this if all conditions. Then what I want you to do is to run the rest of the program. So this all I have to do. Okay, I just have to pack all these things, all the conditions in just a list, right? Let me even do it like this so that you get to see it better. All right, and then bring this one here. So this is all I have to do. So instead of doing them this way, I can just put them in a form of a list, and that's it, right? Now if I run this one should also work fine for me. Now I see that it's also working. So this is quite efficient, especially if you want to check a number of conditions, right? If you have a lot of conditions to check, then it's better you put them in a list instead of writing them like this, because if you have a lot of conditions to check, then this is going to be very long thing to do. Okay, it's going to be a very long thing to do, but you can put them in a list like this, and then you can easily come back here and then be changing them, right, as you want, instead of changing them from this place. So this is another tip that you can take away. All right, now let's see how we normally do swapping of numbers, or swapping of names, or swapping of items when we are programming in Python. All right, so swapping is one of the important things to do, because mostly we swap certain numbers or certain names if they are not appropriately given in the program. Okay, so let's see how normally we do it, and then how we can do it. Now let's say we have our A to be, let's say we have variable A to be, say, 10, we have B to be, say, 20, right? And then we want to switch A and B, right? Let's say we want to switch A and B. So normally what we do is that we do temp equals, say, temp equals A, and then we can do A equals B, then we can do B equals temp to switch them. Okay, this is what normally we do. So over here, if I print if I use the print function, then I print, say, value of A, right? If I do this and then I print value of A, then I put my A there. Okay, then next I do value of B. Okay, then I put my B over there. Okay, let me even use \n so that will go to the next line. Okay, let me even print this one before I do that one for you to see. Now if I do this, now you see that the value of A is 20, value of B is now 10. Now you see that the values have been swapped, right? So normally that's what we do. Let me add this one \n, okay, so that you see that it's printed better for us. Okay, now we can actually do it in a different way, which is more efficient, right? Which is more efficient instead of doing all these things. So let me copy the code over here, bring it down here, and then do it again for you to see. So instead of writing all this code, I'm just going to get rid of them. Okay, then I'm going to do A comma B equals B comma A. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Now if I print this one again, now see that the values have been swapped. Okay, so instead of writing all this code to swap the value, I can easily do this. So I mean, this is more efficient if you want to swap some values so quickly and you don't want to write all that kind of code to do that. Okay, so this is more efficient way of doing it. All right, now normally we do a lot of selecting unique items in a list or selecting unique items in our data set. So let's see how let's see how we do it, and then more efficient way of doing it. Okay, so let's say we have let me do it over here. Let's say we have a list A, right? Let's say we have a list A which is containing a list of some numbers, maybe 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, some 6, 7, 8, 3, 1, 1, 5, 6, whatever numbers that are there, 10 or whatever. Okay, let's say we have numbers like this, and we want to find the unique items in that. So maybe you can use some NumPy or Pandas, some functions in there to do that, or we can write some functions to go through all this or to iterate through this list and then get the unique items. Okay, that's a long way to do it. That's a long way to do it. The quick way to do it is to first convert this list to a set. Remember that a set has only unique items. Okay, so what we can do is convert the list to a set. So in converting the list to a set, it's only going to select the unique items. Okay, because the list set will not accept duplicate items. And then convert the set back to a list. Okay, so this is what I mean. So you convert your list, which is A, right, to a set. Then you convert it back to a list. Okay, you convert it back to a list. This is what you have to do. Okay, and this is going to actually give you the it's going to give you the unique item. So let me actually print how it was earlier on and then how it will be after that. Okay, so maybe I will do it before. Okay, and then before how the A was, and then after, then I'm going to print after doing this operation how it's going to be. Okay, so let me do it after and then put the A there. Okay, so this one probably I will store it in a variable called new underscore A. Okay, something like that. Then I'm going to print that new underscore A rather. That's going to be my new A. So let me do it again. Now you see what is happening here. Now before it was these numbers, and then after we only have the unique items over there, right? We don't have the duplicate items. So this is quite efficient way of selecting the unique items from a list. So it could be a list of names, it could be a list of some items, a list of products, or a list of whatever it is, right? And if you want to get the unique items from it, you can simply use this technique to get it. Okay, so this is another tip to get. You can even get the item that repeated the most. So let's say we have let me create a different list over here, and then let me call it names, right? Let me create the names of list, so this one will become more real. Okay, so let's say I have names of people, right? Let's say I have one name called Bright, I have another name called, say, Simran, right? And then I have another name called, say, Chris. I have another this one should be in quotes. Okay, I have another name called, say, Sanjay. Okay, okay, then I have another name called maybe Chris comes again. All right, let me do it that way. Say Bright comes again in quote. Okay, and then let's say it's repeated again. All right, so let's say this is the list that I have. This is the list that I have. Now I can use the same technique that we did over here. I can use the same technique to select the unique items. Okay, so I can convert these names that I have here to a set. Then I can convert it back to a list. Okay, I can convert it back to a list. Then probably I can store it in a variable called new underscore names. Okay, I can store it in a variable called that. So let me print it before and then the after for you to see how it's going to look. So if you look at the list, you can see that we have duplicate names. Bright comes 3 times. You can see that Chris comes 2 times over there. Okay, so let me do this. Let me print this one before. Okay, let me print the before, and that is going to be names. Okay, then I'm going to let me copy this one and bring it down. Now I'm going to print the after. Okay, and that is going to be new names. Okay, so now let me print this one for you to see. Now you see how it is. You see that we've been able to select all the unique items or the unique names in the list. Okay, so this is how you're going to need to use it. Now, if you want to get the item that appears the most, so this is just a simple list, so I can just easily see it and then tell you that, okay, bright is the item that appears the most. But what if you have like 10,000 data points in there, or 1 million data points in there, which happens in the real world? Okay, what you can do is that you are going to, let me copy this code and bring it down. Right, let me bring it down here. Okay, so instead of converting this one to a list, what I'm going to do is that I'll convert the names to a set. All right, okay, I'll convert the name to a set. All right, and then also inside here I would indicate a key. Right, I'll indicate a key, and the key here should be my names dot count. Okay, this is what I have to specify, my names dot count. And then instead of converting it back to a list, I'm going to use max over here. Okay, I'm going to use a max function over here to get the max out of it. Okay, to get the maximum number or the maximum item that appears the most. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So probably over here I can write the name, right? The name that appears the most is, okay, then that particular name should come. So let me run this one so that you see. Now you see that it's there, right? So before this is the list that we have, and then we have the name that appears the most is bright. Okay, so if you have thousands of data points and you want to just quickly check the unique items over there, you can easily use this function to check it, right? And if you want to know the item that appears the most in the data set, you can easily use this technique to do that. Okay,